All right, I think we can probably kick off there. Gow, we've got a big crew on there now. So,
Cool.
Active Pipe community, welcome to today's webcast, one of many around slingshotting your business into the spring market. I know in Victoria, we're all feeling the hit of this second lockdown here in Vic. So, I've been super fascinated with the New Zealand market, and it's been amazing to watch the recovery New Zealand made since the stage 4 lockdown earlier this year. So, I've got a special guest with me here today, Gower Buchanan from Ray White Damerel Group, 5 offices across, Auckland, New Zealand. Gower, thanks so much for joining us today.
No worries, Ashley. Yeah, really excited to be here, and it's been quite a journey as we sort of move into the second part of 2020, hasn't it? It's been a sort of a torrid sort of first half, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think there'd be a boardroom on the planet that would have been, and a board of directors that would have been prepared for what's hit us this year. I think that you could say that across the world, right? I think it's been about 4 years since, 4 years since we first met, and I said I'd catch up with you for a beer one day, but that's not looking like something we can do in the short term anyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Your business has just, gone through the roof. It's just fantastic to see, you guys just build something that works so well for us and works so well for our customers. It's just, it's been fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. That's what we're here for, Gower, to hear that sort of feedback. So thank you, and likewise with you guys. Gower, it might help to give the audience a bit of a background into yourself and how long you've been in the industry and a bit about the business.
Yeah, no worries. I guess I grew up in the Central North Island, so I'm not from Auckland originally. And then for those of you who know New Zealand, I moved down to Christchurch and started doing a law degree down there, and very quickly sort of thought, I was quite social that first year at university, actually. So I sort of thought I'd better find a job. So I found a job as a real estate cadet, and then by pure fluke, sort of got into second year law. So studied part time and sort of worked full time as a real estate agent. So I did that for 4 years. So that was early 2007 that I started in real estate. And I knew after that first 12 months that I really loved the industry, really loved all the people, and really loved the environment. But I was pretty clear I wanted to own an agency. I'd always sort of wanted to own some sort of a business, and I could see a bit of a future in real estate for me. So at the end of that sort of first 4 year period, I started looking around and moved up to Auckland to join Ray White and Ray White Ponsonby, as it was known then. And that was a high performing but relatively small business. And the two guys that owned the business at the time, Simon and Bryce, they were pretty clear that they wanted to retire at some point in the future, and I sort of pitched myself as that succession plan. So that was nearly 10 years ago. Geez, that was 10 years ago, and
wow.
It was almost 10 years to the day, actually. Oh, yeah, that's
well done.
So we started. So I've been in Auckland 10 years now, I guess, we've sort of grown from sort of a team of sort of 12 or 13 salespeople to with the one sort of, we're a really tight knit family, to a team of 100 just nearly 130 people in the whole team, and covering property management and sales and body corporate work and mortgage broking, and so that's
wow.
That's
congratulations.
where we're at today.
That's huge growth. Congratulations on getting to 10 years and growing the business from 10 to 130. That's huge.
No, thank you. It's been a really cool journey. I was really fortunate with Simon and Bryce in the early days, giving me plenty of rope to sort of try new things, and as we sort of moved from sort of that family sort of business to something a little bit bigger, I've been incredibly fortunate with the leadership team that we've managed to sort of bring into the business, and with the great people on my team to sort of support me. So it hasn't just been me.
Awesome. Yep, it's all about culture, right? And building 100%. Out a team help you with growth. Hey, so what I wanted to kind of cover off on today, I was reading Mike Del Preet's blog around New Zealand and the recovery post stage 4 lockdown, and I found this absolutely fascinating that in the weeks after lockdowns, you guys saw some record numbers for June. Was this something you experienced within your business as well? These record numbers are, from what we're looking at here, that the June numbers of new listings were well above 18 and 2019 as well. Was that consistent with your businesses?
Yeah, I mean, we've just come off a run really of June and July, and August is also going to be a record. But
wow.
that period of time in terms of both listings and sales for us has just been phenomenal. And I guess sitting in our lounges and living rooms and kitchen benches and all of that sort of stuff during level 4 lockdown, never in your wildest dreams you could have thought it was going to be as good as this.
Yeah. And how did you initially, how did COVID initially impact, both yourself and your business, and also the New Zealand real estate market when it kind of hit you guys as a whole?
Yeah, well, we were actually about to put our house on the market, Ashley. So we were supposed to go on the market the first week of level 4 lockdown. So we'd moved into a rental, and about 6 weeks earlier, and had done a little bit of work to prepare it for sale, and we'd appointed the salesperson, the poor team member in my team who was going to have to sell the boss's house, and so we were pretty worried about that as well. So we were in a rental and had the home fully staged and ready to go. So we were sort of living the life of a vendor at that point in time as well, which was really good in terms of focusing my mind about what I wanted to hear as a vendor, and what we were able to what we then communicated out to our customers and out to our buyers. So that was sort of not something I'd like to go through every day, and neither would my wife. But it was really good from a customer experience point of view, because we were able to start to really think about what an owner really wanted out of us, and that drove quite a lot of our behaviour in the early days of lockdown. But I think, like everyone, in your business, everything's impacted. Every one of your people are trying to navigate, working from home, teaching their kids from home, surviving with a spouse. I said to my wife the other day, I said, "Oh, what did you learn out of lockdown?" She said, "I've really learned how to bite my tongue." I was just really conscious we couldn't afford to have an argument because there was nowhere for me to go. So, that financial but emotional pressure that comes, you've got to really talk about it and lean into it, and understand what it's actually, what the impact it has on people.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the other people listening, everyone listening, but I think we're all sort of on a bit of a journey around it, and it's definitely, I think from a vendor's point of view, it's definitely focused some of their minds about buying a bigger home, divorcing, selling up and downsizing, going into 2 separate homes, all of that sort of stuff. But it's been a pretty, from that point of view, from a relationships point of view, I've seen inside of our team that they've come closer together, and we set up some buddy systems, and we set up some different ways of communicating with one another, quarantine Thursday afternoons, and different members of the team started to really interact in a way that they hadn't really done so in the past, because we have scaled quite quickly, in particular in the last 12 or 24 months. So yeah, so that's been a really interesting experience from a business point of view. And then on our customers, I think there was an incredible amount of uncertainty, and then they realized money was so cheap, and then they just started calling our mortgage brokers, our loan market brokers. And, from there, pre-approvals went through the roof, and buyers came into the market pretty aggressively, and were able to compete against one another, and understood that the affordability of the actual amount that they were willing to bid on, it just became so much more affordable. So they were able to go up a price bracket. And so then, as vendors got confidence from that point of view, listings started to come into the market, or in particular, those customers who have obviously gone through the trauma of job loss or redundancy or change of circumstances have had to, obviously had to come on the market as well. So, but the buyers have been there to mop it up as well. So that's been really good for those people. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. And it's interesting to hear about some of those opportunities that come up around upsizing and, through this as well. I know we're certainly looking to do that here as well. But yeah, it's very interesting to hear that sort of stuff coming to fruition.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so,
I mean, when you spend so much time in your home, you get to grips with it.
Yeah, exactly.
What you really love about it and what you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. So, mate, during the lockdown, obviously, what you guys could do was limited. So, how did you maintain your business and relationships with customers during that period? What was some of the things that your team were focusing on?
Yeah, I mean, I think right at that first period, and I think everyone's probably, this isn't new to people now. So the first part was really finishing off those auction campaigns and those deals that were in progress. So that first week of level 4 was like, oh my God, how do we do a virtual auction? Can we do a virtual auction? How do we do that? So what's the technology that we're going to use, and how do we train our team on it, and all of that sort of stuff. So that first week was really about that. And then also about making sure that people had a safe environment to work from and were well set up. And then really that communication with customers, like every business, it was just around, we felt like we knew that at some point they'd have to let us out, and we didn't know, but we just didn't know when. And so our key focus was around giving our customers confidence to stay on the market, so that when we were able to view the property, we would have all of that inquiry, all of that buyer engagement to work with. And we also could see on the in early stage statistics, just the number of properties that were coming off the market with our competitors every single day. And, just the basic economics around supply and demand, it became more and more important that if you're already on the market, to stay on the market. And then from a team point of view, it was, we just set up daily meetings, daily Google Hangouts for the whole team, one-on-one buddy systems. There's some employee assistant programs out there. So if you're a member and you use like Xero, for example, they actually offer in New Zealand, they offer 3 free sessions with a counsellor, which was pretty cool. So just someone to talk to that's independent. We had I had my CFO who'd only been in the job like a week. She did stuff like ran budgeting, advice for our sales team. We had to go. We went through all of that sort of stuff, and then I had to communicate with them, keep them going. We implemented DocuSign, so we're now entirely paperless for agency agreements and stuff like that. And so as we moved through level 4, it was about making sure that we had stock ready to come on the market. So we booked up all the photographers, we booked up all the floor plan people, we'd set up all of those campaigns, and we were doing presentations online, like everyone is now, but in those early days, it was exciting. And then I think the other part of it was we had the opportunity to really build the plane when we weren't flying it. So, like all my administrators, they just had a whole bunch of projects that they just hammered into. So we've come out foundationally as a better business. That stuff you just can't do when you're transacting at the volume that you're trying to in normal everyday life.
Yeah. I've got a question that's come in from Karen. It's a really good one. Did you guys get any like end-to-end transactions done in stage 4, like from listing to sold, or?
No, so we were able to do not on one particular transaction because we weren't able to do viewings in level 4. So so we pretty much weren't allowed out of the house. So under level 3 today for us, we're allowed to do face-to-face meetings with our customers and allowed to do 2 viewings a day with of each property with buyers. So we're able to do end-to-end transactions now, and that's just taking place at the moment, which is really cool. But I guess during level 4, we were able to do those virtual auctions, but also do the do the Zoom or the Google Hangout for the presentations, and prepare those listings ready for when we went into level 3 and we were allowed to get photographers and suppliers through, so to prepare the property for market. So yeah.
Okay, and what did you do a lot of prep when kind of reopening, and just obviously vendors' expectations around social distancing and all those sorts of things? There would have been a lot of process that you would have to put in place across 4 or 5 offices to ensure that you had that all under control, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess for us, the prep started, a couple of weeks earlier. And so we were in level 4. We thought we were going to get out of it. Then we were given another 2 weeks of level 4. And so we'd sort of booked all of those signed publications and printers and, the print publications and things like that. And so then we just moved them all another 2 weeks. But our suppliers were really our best friends, because they wanted to transact as well. But it was really about that open line of communication with them and making sure that we were ready to go on day one. And with our current customers who had already had all their prep done, just giving them the confidence to go hard as soon as we went into level 3 was really where the prep sort of had to take place. So and then all the rules and regulations and all that sort of stuff, we were sort of like everyone making it up as the government went along. So as they are still now, but at least now under level 3 we got all the rules from back when we first broke out, 3 or 4 months, 3 months ago. So yeah, it was good.
Got it. And what were some of the tech tools that you guys took advantage of during and post lockdown that you think were kind of critical to get you through it?
So we obviously we were already in the cloud, so we used Google Suite. So for all of our day-to-day activities. So from emails and server, we don't have a internal server. We've just got a cloud-based server on Google Docs there and Google Drive. So we just sort of transitioned to Google Hangouts and had to send a couple of how-to videos out for everyone on how to jump onto the Google Hangouts in the early days. We use Auctions Live, which I think is an Australian-based product for our online auctions, and we obviously had to get our website all up to date, ready for that. We used ActivePipe. We use that every week anyway, but we had to do some special and some targeted communication out, so we use ActivePipe for that. We use Rita by ear, so I don't know if you guys have heard of Rita, but we use Rita to really target withdrawn listings at that juncture. We've got a few Philippine virtual assistants who help us with that sort of information gathering as well, so we were able to use that, and lots of WhatsApp groups and channels and stuff like that. So what other things? I think that was really about it. I think, yeah.
Okay. Good. So you guys kind of had to adopt
simple stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds good. And did you get any? You mentioned Google Hangouts there. Were you using that on the client side as well, or just internally?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Google Hangouts is really good when it's internal. If you're all on Hangouts, it's nice and easy. It's pretty painful if you're not using it every day as a customer. So we sort of use Google Hangouts internally and Zoom for external stuff. Just seems to work. Zoom just seems to work better for that. You can just send them a link and people click into it, and they don't have to worry about signing in their Google account, or they've got the wrong Google account or whatever. So yeah, we sort of now use a bit of both. So it's been good.
Okay. And what's your kind of, what are you seeing, in the market now? You guys are on, I think, it's stage 3 right now. Are you feeling the pinch of that, or you're still getting it done?
Yeah, we've just got our auctions at the moment happening, so all virtually. So we've got 3 up today. We had 4 up today. We sold 1 prior, and then a couple of days ago with the pre-auction offer, and then we've just had 1 pass in and 2 just sold under the hammer. So right on the ground right at the moment. They all had bidding, which was really positive. When I look at the strength of the market, I'm always looking at where the underbidder sits.
Yep.
If there's $100,000 price difference, then the underbidders really their perception of value is going to either take a while to align upwards, or they're going to align vendors downwards, I guess. So really good, strong underbidder interest. Lots of multiple offers at the moment taking place. So I think probably what I underestimated when we were in lockdown was just the massive confidence that good government support, but also cheap money creates creates in terms of the average consumer's mindset. So that's sort of what's happening in the money. It's cheap money changes the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, we're I don't know if you're aware, but we're in the mortgage broking space as well, and we're hearing the same kind of sentiment come out of that market, that mortgage applications are through the roof at the moment. So it's amazing. What's your? Oh, sorry, Gower.
You go. Sorry.
I was going to kind of just sort of go into what are you thinking is going to happen over the next 6 months? Like, what are your predictions in the industry over the next 6 months? What's going to be mostly important to be successful the second half of this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think crystal ball gazing. I think the benefit for us at the moment with 2 viewings a day is that we're forced as an industry to really qualify buyers before they come through. And in the past, massive numbers of open home attendees or very few open home attendees drives our emotional state as salespeople about how successful the campaign is. And so I think for us, or how it's going, up until that pointy end of an auction or a set date of sale. And so I think the businesses where they're really good at qualifying buyers and choosing the right ones to come through in a New Zealand context with 2 viewings a day are going to win. But the ones that have got just an absolute unrelenting focus on customer experience, on communicating with buyers, if this isn't the right one for them, what else are we going to find them? Their communication with owners about properties that have been listed and sold, the in-depth market information that people are really craving. The salespeople who can deliver that in an authentic manner are the ones that are going to win, I think. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And just on the inspection side, you're talking about, it was interesting, you just highlighted there around, I'd have to agree with you, understanding buyer requirements at a much deeper level is going to be critical. And we see that in the US market, where you've got listing and buying agents on the buy side, with our product as well, which we have a different product over there, just all about that. And we actually just released a feature here in Australia, Smart Match, which is all about matching properties and content to consumers based on their previous behavior, not just their actual profile information. I think that's going to be incredibly important, because you want to get to the 1 or 2 or 3 people that are going to buy the property, so that you're not working through hundreds of different buyers for each property. But that's something that we definitely aligned with at Active Pipe.
Yeah, I mean, that smart match is so crucial, because as a salesperson at the moment, you're not doing a hell of a lot of face-to-face stuff. So a lot of it is either over the phone or on Zoom or Hangouts. And after a day of being on Hangouts, it's bloody tiring if you're not used to it. Or if you're a personality where you thrive off that, that in-person engagement. And so, using that product so that you can actually work with just the very best buyers at the moment is gonna help you win, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure. And what are your thoughts around kind of, I've been thinking about December and January this year, right? So if you think about, typically in Oz and New Zealand, it almost, the industry goes into shutdown, and you don't see many transactions happening over that sort of December, January period. I'm kind of, really interested to see what you might think around. Do you think this could be a very different Christmas and New Year? I know in the US we see that our customers just continue to transact as business as usual, and over here, I mean, and New Zealand, I don't think there's not many places to go and travel. We're kind of stuck back. I think, the fact that there's a lockdown and there's a period where people can't transact doesn't stop the fact that, people need to upsize, downsize, people need liquidity. So, we would be expecting a lot of those properties to just come to market as you guys have experienced. But what are you thinking around December and January this year? Do you think it'll be a very different year? Have you guys kind of thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? We've been aiming for an election date of the middle of September as well, actually, and the government's they've just pushed it out another month, and so it now sits in mid-October. So any consumers who were thinking about coming to the market were really angling to come to the market, either before the election or after it, through to Christmas. But I think we've also got to focus on, we've now got to work with those customers who had the election date in their mind as the date that they were then going to come to the market, because 20th of October, along with everyone else who thought they were going to come to the market at that point of time, there could well be a lot of stock to work with, as we push closer to Christmas. So I think the other thing that level 3 has taught us is that if you're going to do something, you need to do it right now, because if you're in level 1 and you can do it, you should do it, because you never know when there's going to be another leak at the border and we all get locked down again. And so I think there'll be some urgency where people go, right, I'm coming now. Every time because I think we'll go in and out of level 1 to level 3, until they find a vaccine. And so just that speed of communication with your customer, that engagement with them, right when they want to transact right now, is going to be crucial. And so I think Christmas, get prepared for a pretty short Christmas break, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. I'd agree on that. How much of the stock that you're seeing come to market, post lockdown, was there a lot of distressed stock come to market, as far as, off the back of, job losses and all those sorts of things? And
yeah, I mean, look, our average sale price in Greater Ponsonby is 1.7 mil. So I think, we're probably a little bit protected compared with some of the other parts of Auckland. But what I would say is that our market has definitely, we've definitely had some customers go, look, I'm not sure about my job, or one of the two of us have lost our job, and we think we're just gonna maybe sell that rental, put the cash in the bank, and just pay off some other debt, and and just consolidate a little bit. We're seeing a little bit of that with our market, so we're selling a lot of second or third rentals at the moment, a little bit further out of our area. But in terms of 2 job losses and things like that, there's not a hell of a lot of that. So most people are able to sort of, it's going to push out a wee way. There's going to be a fair amount of hurt once these wage subsidies come off, and when the mortgage deferral scheme finishes, and that's all been extended. But you can kick the can down the road only for so long, actually. So, something's got to happen, right?
You got to expect some of those properties will come to market, right?
Yeah, and hopefully they've come to market sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
now's the time to do it.
For sure. And if you had lockdown, stage 4 kick in again, Gower, and you had to go through it all again, what would there be anything you'd kind of do differently now than you did last time?
I think, I think have great confidence. It doesn't matter if you're a salesperson with a PA, or whether you're on your own, or whether you're talking about your family, or whether you're talking about your business. I think for me, I would have greater confidence that great people and great cultures are going to come through it better, and they're going to actually create great outcomes for your customers. They're going to create great outcomes for for your business as well, and actually your culture is going to get better if you communicate really well. If you have a system whereby you're touching as many people in your team as possible every single day, and actually just being that listening ear and being that person and that team leader or that business owner who can really work with that salesperson, really listen, or that administrator, really listen to what's going on in their life and be able to really engage with them. I think have great confidence that the work you're doing there is you're gonna come out with a better team and a better business. And I think I'd just ask people to step up even more, because when I did, we just got way better outcomes rather than having it all on your shoulders. Actually, just asking a little bit more of your team, of your administrators or your sales team. Like I sat down and did an all hands sort of a town hall style meeting with all of our team a couple of weeks into it, and I was pretty clear with them. Like, everyone had taken a pay cut on our admin team. Everyone had given a bit, and I just sat down with the sales team and said, hey, if we're staring down the barrel of significantly less revenue, that was my view at that time. Need your help. We're going to have to recruit a few more teammates, and the number of the guys that rang colleagues in the industry and asked them to come and join us and spoke about what we were doing and all of that sort of stuff. It's been really heartwarming. So you just got to have trust in your culture and those people. So I don't know, and also understand there's an incredible amount of opportunity out there. There's customers out there who are just being so poorly serviced, and they just want more help and more information, and you can do it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point there on the culture piece. And I often say, even with ActivePipe, I think team always comes first, right? Getting that culture right. You can weather any storm when you got that right, and it's not an easy thing to get, but well done for getting through it.
I think great teams will be built this year, and it's going to stand businesses and teams and individuals in really, really great stead for the next 4 or 5 years. So it's really cool.
Awesome. So I think, mate, I think that's it for me. We've kind of we've got through it pretty quickly today. So, Gower, I guess on behalf of the ActivePipe community, I'd like to say a huge thank you for taking part in today's session. It's been really insightful, and I think it's also given us a lot of hope around seeing what's happened in the New Zealand market post stage 4. It's almost a replica of what we're seeing here in Vic. So hopefully the ActivePipe community got a little bit out of that. And ActivePipe community, once again, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. This is part of a 4-part webinar series. Next Monday we're hosting another session where you can expect to hear about how you can be engaging with your audience right now. So keep an eye out for that in your inbox. We'll also be bringing Josh Fegan into one of our webinars on the 1st of September. So keep your eye out for that on the new era, the rise of the digital offline agent. So keep your eye out for those two. And once again, thanks Gower and thanks ActivePipe community. And till next time.
Thanks, mate.
Bye.
Fantastic. Really cool.
Thanks, mate. Cheers. Bye.